Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock on a Thursday, which means it's time for a Magic Stuff. Now, I'm going to be doing today another one of the 3 trick series. If you haven't seen that before on the channel, the idea is simple. I highlight 3 tricks that you've probably never seen before, and I typically do it on a particular genre. So it might be 3 tricks with gimmick cards that you've never seen before, 3 tricks with oil and water that you've never seen before, and it is a very popular video series on this channel. We've been doing it for probably the last year and a half. Well, today I wanted to try and do something a little bit different. I'm going to be doing 3 tricks that you've probably never seen before from a particular book, and in this case it's going to be Ryan Matney's Spoiler Alert. Now, the reason that I'm doing this is I did another video a couple of weeks ago on Spoiler Alert by Ryan Matney. Now, it was a Hidden Gems. I think it was Hidden Gems number 2, if you want to check the playlist. And I talked about Spoiler Alert. I talked about how it's a great book that has flown under everyone's radar. It's still available from all good magic dealers. And I performed the Columbo effect from the book on there. And I said, this is a book that you really should check out. And a lot of people in the comments and a lot of people messaged me saying, hey, we've never heard of Ryan Matney before. We've never heard of the book before. Can we see some more performances of some of his material? So I thought, well, probably the best way to go about this is to do it as a 3-trick video and do it as part of a Magic Stuff. And that's what I'm doing. Now, I've never done this before, but I think it'd be a really good idea. And I think this is something that we could do moving forward, because there's lots of books out there that are kind of obscure. People might not have read them or might not have read all the routines in them. And I think doing 3 tricks from this book that you've never seen before, 3 tricks from this book that you've never seen before, I think this would be a really fun video to do. So I want you to let me know in the comments, because let's be honest, Magic TV is all about making sure that you guys get the experience on this channel that you want. So if you want to see more videos where I'm actually taking books and I'm performing routines out of books so you can see exactly what it is that you're going to get from them if you decide to buy them, then let me know, because I can absolutely do this. I've got a list of about 20 or 30 books that are super obscure that people might not have seen before, and you know, I could put those together very, very easily. Let me know in the comments down below. But today we are going to be looking at Ryan Matney's Spoiler Alert. Now, before we start, I should tell you that in my opinion, this is one of the best books on card magic you will ever see. It is absolutely criminal that more people are performing the material from this book. It's criminal that not more people know who Ryan Matney is. If you haven't seen the Hidden Gems video, go and check it out, because the Columbo effect is brilliant. Well, what I've done is I've picked 3 routines out of here that are kind of obscure. Even if people have the book, they're the sort of tricks that you gloss over, because let's be honest, when you read a book, it's very easy to gloss over certain routines thinking, oh, that doesn't sound all that. And then when you see them performed, you realize, wow, that's super commercial. And that's the thing with Ryan's material. It is super, super commercial, and a lot of it just uses a regular deck of cards. So without further ado, we're going to get into it this week. But remember, leave a comment down below if you want to see more of these videos. But let's get straight into it right now. Here it is, 3 tricks from Spoiler Alert by Ryan Matney that you've probably never seen before. Okay, so the first routine we're going to be looking at is called A Card for Claude Rains, and it is on page 49. For anybody who has got Ryan Matney's book, I'm going to give you the reference where you can learn it from. It's from page 49, and it is very similar to an arrow for Dr. Krenzel, which is on page 43, but it's different in methodology. Now, what this routine is, basically, it's about as close to self-working as you're going to get. There's one move in there, which is a move by John Bannon. John Bannon was actually Ryan Matney's mentor. He wrote the foreword for the book, so you can see John Bannon's influence in a lot of the material that Ryan puts together. But there's one move really in there, which is a move by John Bannon, and using one move, he's able to construct this whole routine that has 3 moments of magic. And that's what I love about Ryan's material. It is very, very simple, and it's very direct. Now, he's not afraid to use sleight of hand. He's not afraid to use moves when moves need to be used. But one thing that I've noticed with Ryan's material is he's very good at streamlining effects. It's very good at looking at something and going, well, what's the best way to do this to make the effect, to make it as direct as we can make it? And this is the perfect example of this. So I performed this earlier on Luke. I'm going to show you the performance so you can see exactly what it looks like. And then after the performance, we'll talk about why this is so good. Excellent stuff. So I've got a deck of playing cards, 52 cards. They're all there. They're all different. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to turn one of these cards invisible. You've heard of a second deal, where you take the second card from the back, and the bottom deal and the center deal. This is the invisible deal. And watch, if I just do this, I can take one card out and make it invisible. I'm going to put it right there, face down. We're going to get back to that invisible card in a minute. Okay. Now you're going to pick a card yourself. Just say stop.
Stop.
Are you happy there?
Yeah, yeah.
You don't want to change your mind, no?
No.
You're good?
Yeah.
Can you look at that card?
Yeah, got it.
Can you show the camera? There we go. That's the card.
Yep.
You're going to leave it down in the middle of the deck. So you're thinking of a card right now, right?
Yep.
And we've got that invisible card. If that invisible card was your card, would that be good?
Be amazing, mate, yeah?
Yeah, it can't be because I took it out the deck. So it's the Ace of Spades. Was your card the Ace of Spades?
No.
No. Take the Ace of Spades, hold it face up. What I want you to do is on 3, I want you to throw it right there at the deck. Okay. 1, 2, 3. You threw it in the middle, yeah?
Yeah.
Good. That Ace of Spades. See, when you threw it in the middle, if you really believe, it'll become visible when you threw it in the middle. Do you really believe?
I believe.
Well, if you really believe, then hopefully it'll become... There you go. You see, it's visible now, right in the
yeah.
middle of the deck. But you put it right there in that position.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why you threw it right there. The reason you threw it right there is because you threw it next to a card, didn't you? You threw it next to one card, this card right here. And you picked a card, didn't you? I mean, you could have picked any card. What was the name of your card?
Queen of Hearts.
The Queen of Hearts. Mm-hmm. That's the Queen of Hearts. But that's not the weird thing. Maybe you think I was using sleight of hand, or maybe you were using sleight of hand.
Yeah.
The weird thing is, when you throw a card into a deck, it changes ever so slightly. The back colour changes, and not only does the back colour change to red, but it actually says on there, you will think of the Queen of Hearts. And I knew that you would pick that Queen of Hearts before you even began.
That's brilliant.
Isn't that weird? Yeah. So that's the performance, and you can see that you get so much magic out of one move. It's criminal. Now, let me tell you why I love this. So first of all, I love the hook. I love the idea of having the blank card. He takes the invisible card from the pocket. I like taking it from the deck. He takes it from the pocket, and he openly tells you that it's a different coloured card. Either way is absolutely fine, but having that hook there makes this different to any other card trick. You know, we've all been there where we go pick a card and somebody goes, oh, I've seen that one before. But if you go, you know what, I'm going to show you something with an invisible card, can you hold that for me please? Suddenly that's a really interesting hook. They're not going to say, well, I've seen that before. Secondly, well, I've said it before, I'll say it again. There's one move in this routine. The move is about as close to self-working as you can get. And using that one move, you can accomplish everything. Now, secondly, it's a very limited setup. There is a small setup, and a lot of Ryan stuff doesn't have setups. It's a very small setup. You need to set one card into position, a stranger card from a different deck. Now, the easiest way to do that, if you're going to get into this in the middle of a card set, is just to cop it underneath the deck. And that's all you need to do, and then you can very easily put it into position. Or you can do what Ryan suggests, which is have that already set up. But it's a very minimal setup. It's not like a very long, complicated setup that's going to take hours to put together. Exactly the opposite. And then the best thing about this routine for me is that it's, there's 3 really strong moments in this routine. So first of all, you've got this moment where you spread through the deck and they see that card that's turned face up. Now, as magicians, we might look at that and go, well, that's kind of simple. Yes, but to a layperson, and trust me, I know because I've done this, to a layperson, when you spread through the deck and that card just suddenly appears, it's a really strong moment. But then they feel like they could have picked any card, and not only is that card turned face up, but it's turned face up right next to the card that they named or they've thought of. That's a really killer moment in the routine. It really is. And then finally, you've got the added kicker of the card turned over, and it's actually got the prediction of the card that they named from the very beginning. Really, really strong. Now, you can give that card away as a souvenir. So at the end of the routine, you can give that card away as a souvenir, or you can put it away in your pocket, or you can reset the deck immediately. It's instantly reset. Or if you put it away in your pocket, you can very easily get back into the routine at any point you want to. If you are going to set it up from the pocket, it's a shuffle deck of cards in use, in essence. It's examinable as well at the end of the routine. Everything is fully examinable. There's just so much to love about this routine. And one of the reasons I picked this routine to perform for you is, like I said earlier on, it really kind of typifies the type of magic that Ryan Matney does, and the reason why I love Ryan Matney's material so much. It's very simple, it's very direct, it's very easy. It reminds me very much of a John Gustafaro, of a John Bannon, of a John Carey, that sort of person where everything is really direct and everything is really simple, and all of the moves that aren't needed are taken out. That's the sort of thing that I really like about Ryan's material. So that's that. That's the card for Claude Rains. Like I said, it's on page 49. Now I'm going to talk to you about a different routine that Ryan put together that basically mashes together some really cool, awesome stuff into one routine with a really killer plot. Let's have a look at that right now. Okay, so the next routine I want to look at out of Ryan's book is called Now It's Now Again. And this is from page 52. So now it's now again. What is now it's now again? Well, it's basically a routine that presentationally is all about time travel. And I love routines that are all about time travel. I really do, because they're so engaging. Now, mate, that might be that I'm a geek, I'm a nerd, and I love genre TV, I love Doctor Who, you know, I love Back to the Future. It might be that I'm just a time travel nerd, I don't know. But I tend to find that when I'm performing routines, if I can give them an interesting hook like this, people are going to be more invested in them. And that's the perfect example with this particular routine. Now, what he's done here is he's mashed a couple of different routines together. So he's mashed together Travellers in Time by Roy Walton and Back in Time by Jay Sankey into one routine. And if you've seen Back in Time by Jay Sankey, it's a great presentation for using the slip-slop shuffle in a triumph sequence. Well, this keeps that slip-slop shuffle. It keeps the triumph sequence, but it adds onto it and then some. And he uses some really nice moves in this routine to, again, simplify things right down to their nth degree. So I'm going to show you a performance of this right now. Let's have a look at performance of Now It's Now Again. And then once we've looked at the performance, I'll talk about why it's so good.
Shuffle, so I'm going to shuffle the cards for you.
Thank you.
I'm going to mix them up. It's important that you realise that you could have shuffled these if you wanted to, but I'll give them a shuffle.
That's a good idea.
But it's not a good idea. I've seen Luke shuffle. I'm going to take out the Ace of Spades and the two Black Kings. And let me ask you a question. Do you believe in time travel?
Yeah.
You believe that you can reset things and go back in time?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm going to prove to you that time travel does exist.
Okay.
And it starts with you picking a card from the deck. So I'm going to riffle down the deck. Just say stop whatever you want to.
Stop.
Right there, you sure?
Yeah.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to use these two kings as like a pair of tweezers and take that card out. If I take it out like that, there's no way I can cheat. Can you remember that card for me?
Yeah.
I'm going to leave it over there for a minute. I'm going to put the Ace of Spades right there on top of the deck. Okay. Actually, before I put the Ace of Spades right there on the top of the deck, I want you to remember this point in time. The Ace of Spades right there on top of the deck, and whatever card you've picked reversed right here in between the kings. Okay? Yeah. We're going to get back to that in a minute. First of all, I'm going to spread the deck out face down. And whatever it is, whatever card you've picked, this card right here, yeah? Yep. Whatever the card is, I'm going to have you just say stop, and we're going to put it back in the deck any way you want to.
Stop.
Right there, you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to leave it there. I'm going to put the two kings over there. Now, this is where things get interesting. I'm going to take the ace and mix it into the deck. I'm going to give the cards a couple of shuffles, a couple of cuts, just to make sure that card really is lost in there. And then I'm going to give the deck a very, very special shuffle. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle some of the cards face up, some of the cards face down, some pointing towards heaven, some pointing towards hell. There's a technical term for this. It's called a mess. There's a reason I do that, because now the cards are mixed up. We've got some cards face to back. We've got some cards back to face. If you look in just the right place, you've got cards back to back. And as I continue to cut, these cards continue to get more and more mixed up. Now I'm going to try and do several things. I'm going to try and find the ace, which was shuffled into the deck. Find your cards, sort all the cards out, and I'm going to do it in less than a second. No. Because I'm going to use time travel. I'm going to go back in time to that point in time. Do you remember when the ace was on top of the deck? Yeah. And I'm going to go back in time. It's about a minute and a half, and we're done. See, a minute and a half ago, the Ace of Spades was face up on top of the deck. A minute and a half ago, the entire deck was facing the right way. What? And 1.5 minutes ago, there was one card over here in between the kings. And that was your Queen of Spades. Proof that we have gone back in time a couple of minutes. There you go, time travel does exist.
So that was the routine, and it's really strong. You saw the reaction from Luke. It always gets a really good reaction. Now, one of the most beautiful things about this, it is a complete and total shuffle deck in use. You can do this anytime, anywhere. Whenever you want to do this, you just pick up a deck and you're good to go. You just take out the two kings and you take out the ace and you're ready. Now, I love that you set this moment. I love it when everything comes full circle. If you've seen any of my videos on the best opening routines, the best closing routines, creating set lists, you'll know I love it that when you set something up at the beginning of your performance and then afterwards, you bring everything full circle and you go back to that original concept. I love that. I really do. And that's what you have here, because the audience don't really know what's going on. You take out the kings, you take out the ace, you put the card in between the kings, and then you put the ace face up on the table and you say, remember this point in time, because we're going to get back to this point in time a little bit later on. I love that. I absolutely love that. You then proceed to lose the card in the deck. Now, Ryan talks about how you can take the kings and put them in between the spectators' hands. This routine is designed to be done walk around. There's no table required, which is another plus point of it. Obviously, I use the table. I put the kings down on the table, but you don't need to. But yeah, I mean, the fact that it can be done walk around is great. But you put the card back into the deck. You shuffle the cards face up into face down, and everything goes back full circle. Now, when Ryan does this, and it's been a while since I learned this, but when Ryan learned this, he actually uses a different sleight to reveal. He uses the blowaway change from J.K. Hartman. So when he does the triumph, he blows, and the ace just appears magically on top of the deck, and that's fine. But I've always, I've never been a big fan of the blowaway change, and so when I actually learnt this and I actually started performing this, I changed it so that it's not an instant reveal on top of the deck, but you put the cards down, you leave them, and then you turn the deck over and the ace is there. There's no right or wrong, but that just fit my style a little bit better. But I love that the audience doesn't think that anything's happened, and so at the point where they don't think you've done anything, you've already done. You just literally snap your fingers, you turn over the deck, the ace of spades is already on top of the deck. You spread through the deck's already facing in the right way, and they look at the kings in between their hands and their selected card is back there. And it can be a signed card if you want it to. It's not like you're using a dupe or anything, you're using a shuffle deck of cards in use. So yeah, I mean, it's another example of a really strong trick by Ryan Matney. Fastidio from a shuffle deck of cards in use, no table required, no angle issues, a great hook line, very simple, very direct. Magic happens in the spectator's hands. Really, from a commercial point of view, it's super commercial. It ticks all of the boxes. For me, it makes a great commercial trick. And I think the problem is when people see magic like this, when some magicians see magic like this, they think, oh, this is simple. It's just a simple routine. When I did my original Hidden Gems video on Ryan Matney, there were a couple of comments going, oh, if this is the best book, I'm very disappointed because look how simple that routine is. And that's the point. He's not doing overly complicated multi-phase routines using really difficult moves for no reason. He's using the moves that he needs to use in order to accomplish the effect he needs to accomplish. He is making it as direct as possible, which is one thing that I absolutely loved about Ryan's material. And this, Now It's Now Again, is a perfect example of that. So yeah, I really like this routine. I think it's very strong. It's not difficult to do at all. And it packs a real punch. It makes a great opening routine as well. And you could, if you wanted to, transition from the first routine into this routine. You could just literally put the stranger card away and you could go straight into this one. But this is also another great one to do to transition from sandwich routine, because obviously you've got two kings in play. So you could have a sandwich routine, and then after the sandwich routine, you could do a pseudo explanation of how everything works. And you can say, hey, people think it's sleight of hand. It's not sleight of hand. I can just go backwards and forwards in time. You don't believe me? Let me prove this to you. Boom. And you're straight into it. And yeah, there's nothing else really to say about this trick other than if you try it, it's really good. Now I'm going to look at the final routine from Ryan Matney's Spoiler Alert. Okay, so the final routine we're going to be looking at is Splinched, and Splinched is on page 41. And it's originally the plot was his crediting is amazing. It's back from 1973. I've actually explored this plot myself. So on my DVD blank, I actually did a couple of routines that were similar to this. Ryan's approach to this is very, very elegant. Basically, it's the concept of half a transposition. So it's the concept of having somebody hold onto a blank card and having somebody pick a card and showing that the cards have half transposed. And as I say, I've actually got work on this before, and the routines that I do, they work really well for me. They are a lot more difficult because I'm using signed cards and I'm using a lot more difficult moves. And again, I don't want to keep laboring the point, but this is a perfect example of the type of magic that Ryan does so well. He's basically eliminated all of the moves outside of an Elmsley count, and made it really strong. So let's have a look at it. I'm going to do a performance to Luke. This is the routine. Let's have a look at it, and I'll talk about what makes it so good.
And it uses a deck of playing cards, my friend. 52 cards, 52 possibilities. They're all there, they're all different. We're going to go back to the cards in a second, because as well as the cards, I have 4 very special cards in my pocket. Now, these cards are blank, okay? Yeah. The blank on this side, the blank on this side. These are what cards look like before they're printed.
Yeah.
We're going to use one of these, and you'll see why in a second. So we're going to take this one right here. Can you put your hand on it for me? That would be great. Now, these other 3 blank cards, they're not important. The only important one is the one underneath your hand. Now, in Magic, there's something called a transposition. That's when you make 2 objects change places. To do this, we're going to need a card. Say stop.
Stop.
Right there, are you sure?
Yeah.
Now, we're going to need a card, and I want you to look at the card and remember it. It also doesn't matter whether I see it or not, because we're going to trade whatever card you picked, and it's this one here. It's the 6 of Hearts. Can you see that, Jack?
Yep.
Very good. Whatever card you pick, I'm going to try and make it change places with the card underneath your hand. So the blank card underneath your hand, I'm going to make it change places with the 6 of Hearts. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Watch. I'm going to hold the 6 of Hearts here. You can keep your hand on that blank card, and it's going to happen on 3. 1, 2, 3. It's done. Now, I know you probably don't believe me because this doesn't look like a blank card, right?
Yeah.
But this is half a transposition. It's not a full transposition. It's just half a transposition.
Right.
Now, what I mean by that is I didn't make the whole card change places. I just made the face of the card change places. See, that's a blank-faced card now. You see, I've now got a blank face, which means the 6 that was on here that you picked is gone. And if you lift up your hand, you've had your hand on that blank card the whole time. And if you turn it over, that's the 6 of Hearts. And that's what you call half a transposition. That's quite cool, right?
So there you go. That's a routine. That's the routine. And as you can see from the performance, it gets a really strong reaction. Now, what's nice about this is it's kind of a packet trick, but using a regular deck of cards as well. And one of the reasons that I love blank cards so much, and I do love blank cards, is because when you bring them out, the audience has never seen anything like this before. They've never seen a blank card before. They don't even know that these things exist. So you bring out blank cards, and there's an instant moment where they're kind of more invested in what you're doing. And Ryan's sort of routining here is very clever, because you show very cleanly the cards front and back. You put one down at the table before you even do anything, and you put your hand on top of it. You then bring out a deck of cards, you have the card picked, and as soon as the card's been picked, you immediately put it down on the table and you show that you've switched the faces of the 2 cards. It is very direct. It is very simple to do. He uses a couple of simple moves to achieve basically an absolute near miracle. Now, again, when you talk about transitions, this is a great transition routine, because you're bringing a deck of cards in. You could have done a packet trick before this, and then you say, hey, let me show you one more thing. Imagine doing this. Imagine doing the quantum deck. And then after doing the quantum deck, you take 4 cards off the top of the quantum deck and you say, let's just use 4 blank cards. I've got 4 blank cards here. In fact, let me just take one of these blank cards. And you take one blank card and you give it them and you go, now let me just get a regular deck of cards. And you go into this routine. And you've been able to transition from something like the quantum deck to something that's really incredible. And then when you put the cards away at the end, you've got a regular shuffle deck of cards in use. It's an instant reset. There's no angle issues. You don't need a disable. All of this stuff that basically typifies Ryan's material. Very easy to do and very super practical. If you've never worked with blank cards before, I really highly encourage you to do this routine. It's very direct and very simple, and it really packs a punch. So there you go, guys. That is another magic stuff in the bag. Do me a favor, let me know what you think in the comments down below. You want to see more videos like this, all you got to do is like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back again tomorrow with 3 videos. At 2 o'clock at Shorts, at 6 o'clock live, at 9 o'clock we're going to have another video. And don't forget, on Saturday, the Netrix launches. That's right, on Saturday we are launching the Netrix. It is going to be available. I've been working for 2 years to get to this point. I can't wait for you guys to see what we've got. It's going to be coming, and it's going to be coming really soon. You'll be able to subscribe as of Saturday. Again, don't forget, if you want to see more videos, like the video, subscribe to the channel, let me know what you think. And also in the comments down below, let me know if you want me to do another 3 best things on another book. If you do, I'll make it happen, and I'll be back again tomorrow with another 3 videos. I'll see you then. My name's Craig from Magic TV.